evening, dear all participants. I am Vignesh Raj Muniratnam, Assistant Manager Technical and Training, and I am the host of the webinar session. On behalf of our IWMA, office bearers, executive members, and senior manager, I welcome you all for the IWMA second webinar on waste management and pollution control during the COVID-19 pandemic. I welcome our chairman, Mr. K. Bhaskaran, to give a short welcome address to all. Mr. Bhaskaran has served as an EC member and presently the chairman of IWMA. He also holds the position of secretary in Kakalur Industrial Estate Manufacturers Association and also district chairman of e-waste management in Lions Club of A6 district. Our chairman is the CEO of the RT Industries, an electroplating unit presented in Ambattur, Kakalur and Padappai. Now I welcome our chairman on behalf of all the participants. Chairman sir.
Yeah, good evening to you all. On behalf of IWMA as a chairman, I welcome you all for this today's webinar. I also welcome our eminent speaker, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, National Lead Ramki Group of Companies. I also welcome our Joint Secretary, Mr. Thirinjavanam, and our office secretary team led by Saravanan, Senior Manager, Mr. Vignesh, Coordinator for webinar programs and RE projects. And today is a big day for us. We have got more than 260 registration. I think participant more than 115, I think, crossed. Once again, I thank you all. And I think because of the topic of today's topic, very good topic. And today's scenario, the topic was waste management and pollution control during the COVID-19. And also right person, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar. I welcome you, sir. See, actually, we have a common hazardous waste treatment and storage disposal facility and Gumadipundi. Actually, this is basic. It was started in the direction of Honorable Supreme Court of India and Government of Tamil Nadu through Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board. Formed group of representative from the industries also. They were developed in the 1999. So TNPCP and Industrial Waste Management Association was set up as a non-profit organization in 2002. The government of Tamil Nadu through the SIPCAT, they have leased 27 acres in Gumadipundi to IWMA establish the CHWTSDF facility. And IWMA simultaneously engaged through various process. Ramki is operating CHWTSDF facilitator. It is the first common hazardous waste landfill facility in the state of Tamil Nadu. It was given to them. The landfill facility is among the best maintained, in fact, we can say, in India. And about our office, we have a Coimbatore, and we have also our members also 2,600 plus. As day by day it is increasing, and our office executive committee, including me, it was 16 members committee. Apart from IWMA, we conduct a lot of seminars, in-house trainings. We have in-house training room also, and recently we have started a webinar. Based on that, because of this COVID and all, we thought we'll go for a webinar. And we do consultancy service to the industries and industry clusters in partnership with the industries. We have tie-up with the CLRI, IIT Madras, SICRI, IIT Cube, like big institutions. We take them as consultants. IWMA also actively involved in creating awareness among the schools in the area of environment and renewable energy, recycling, calamity change, water conservation, global warming. In the topics, IWMA conducts Enviro programs, collaboration with Science Olympia Foundations for the school children And IWMO annually conducts Young Environment Scientist Award programs. It will be conducted in the IIT Madras through the help of IIT Madras. The students will be 8th to 12th. It will be a 6 months program, and the schools will be in Chennai around and the corporation schools. In fact, the same way we are this year we have gone to Coimbatore with the help of PhD technologists. So there also we are doing it. We are planning to go for Madurai and all. So maximum part will be covered in Tamil Nadu. And IWMA coordinate with the IIT. We are coordinating with IIT Madras to conducting Carbon Zero Challenge. This is for only college students. We have southern 400 colleges. We have approximately, I'm telling, all engineering colleges, they come for live programs, renewable energy in the competition. Once they selected, they will get some fund also. Maybe they can go for a startup, something like that. So that also we do part of it. And we are also doing some program in Madurai Kamaraj University and IWMA jointly doing one program. Last year it has started in electroplating. So I'm in electroplating line. So it is electroplating diploma we have started. We have got very good response. 25 students we got. All of them they placed. So we are part of it actually. Madurai Kamaraj University in IWMA. And like that we want to do for webinar. We have lined up with the next 2-3 months. We are planning to do for continuously webinars. Every 4 days we are going to have this webinars. We have a scientist and various scientists from different part of Tamil Nadu and India also, and TNPCB officials are going to come, and lot of industry experienced persons also we are planning to combine. So please do join our all programs, gain knowledge. Once again, I thank you for the participants. Thank you all. Over to Vignesh.
Thank you, sir. Now I take this opportunity to welcome our speaker, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, sir. Mr. Sanjeev Kumar holds a master's degree in environmental planning and a MA in Delhi School of Economics. Earlier, he was working for the Central Pollution Control Board as an environmental planner and also a research associate with the School of Planning and Architect. With the 6 years of working experience in Chennai for the Central Pollution Control Board in various projects like industrial estate planning, common effluent treatment plan, preparation of municipal solid waste rules 2000, environmental management plan, technique in environmental management infrastructure planning and execution. Presently, he has 15 years of experience in Roorkee, honored various roles of management. Some of his notable projects he handled are integrated projects on municipal solid waste management of North Delhi Municipal Council and T projects of New Delhi, landfill capping of Agra Development Authority, and the setting up of integrated common hazardous waste management plant in Virudunagar, and many more. He is presently heading the Industrial Waste Management Division, National Head of the Industrial Waste Management Division of Roorkee. Now I welcome our speaker, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar sir, to take over the session. Sir Sanjeev Kumar sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Kindly share your screen for taking over the session, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. So thanks, Vignesh, for conducting this as a host, conducting this webinar, and special thanks to Bhaskaran sir for giving us a highlight as to what the IWMA and Roorkee has been working since 2007, and it's more than 12 years now. And in a blessing in disguise, what I see is that the facilities developed by and conceptualized by IWMA is really a very good thought. I don't know, I think nobody in this whole world had ever thought that this time would come. But in this time of COVID, so the facilities, especially three facilities in the state of Tamil Nadu, which is integrated common hazardous waste facilities, and also a part where some way or the other IWMA has been quite supportive for developing a lot of biomedical facilities. So in Tamil Nadu, 3 more biomedical facilities, and as a Ramki, we are doing 2 municipal solid waste management plant. So under the guidance of IWMA, in one way or the other, whether it is direct, indirect, there are such facilities which IWMA and Ramki as a partner is doing for the waste management. And in this present times, waste management has become a very big challenge and very big requirement of the time. It is almost similar to what the doctors are providing to the patients, what the policeman is trying to control through law and order. And the sanitation workers, whom we are all talking as, whether it's doctors, policemen, media, or the sanitary workers, as COVID warriors. So all these people have together become very important. And IWMA and Ramki so far has been trying to contribute this very smallest bit what it can do in its time. So taking this as a opportunity as to why this is important, I would just like to give you all a brief of what can be done and what is being done at point of the time, at the present times, in for COVID waste management. So as a Ramki, along with IWMA in Tamil Nadu and along with different locations, we are working at 65 locations, wherein more than 20,000 workforce is engaged to see that everything is neat and clean. The services being catered is varied one, and but are equally interlinked and important, whether it is municipal solid waste, whether it is hazardous waste management, biomedical waste, construction waste, management of watershed for the lakes, contaminated land parcels, wastewater, paper waste, solvents, used oil, maritime waste, recycling, EPR, consultancy, research and development, facilities management, car parking, to name whatever is related to waste and which can protect the environment and pollution control is being done through. Now in this, there is another thing which has come up is COVID waste. So since the infrastructure and the strength is available, the state of Tamil Nadu is on an upper hand compared to the other states. And Industrial Waste Management Association, by doing so, has been very great in supporting to see that the solutions are being provided to the stakeholders. In India, we are present almost at 65 facilities are working. The map here shows the kind of facilities and the presence all over. The different color shows which kind of facilities at where. So the green and the blue color shows especially the facilities which are having incinerator, where COVID waste is particularly managed. India, Ramki has an international presence, including USA, Tanzania, Oman, Middle East, and in South Asia at Singapore. So what has happened is that, I would just be very specific to the COVID waste, is that Government of India through central and state government has defined some guideline, a guideline carving out of the existing biomedical waste, carving out certain clauses of the municipal solid waste, and carving out certain clauses of the hazardous waste. So all the 3 major rules were consulted, and Central Pollution Control Board formed a guideline for handling, treatment and disposal of the waste generated during the treatment, diagnostic and quarantine of COVID-19 patients by Central Pollution Control Board. This broadly was taken as it is by the different state pollution control boards, with some alterations depending upon the infrastructure available and the local conditions. So they formed a guideline, and the guideline has to be followed in toto so that the waste is properly managed. To do so, the first concept of polluters pay principle, where the generator is the source for any waste, was to be identified or taken out. So the generator they defined was as a quarantine centers, camps, homes or hospitals, isolation ward, sample collection centers, and laboratories. So majorly these were the 4 generators of waste which is coming out of corona disease or the COVID-19 patients. And they came out with guidelines for handling. The State Pollution Control Board also came up with local guidelines depending upon this. So the most important thing is that we have to identify from where the waste is generated, and the waste generator has been classified in 4 categories. So from the isolation wards, it was very clearly mentioned that these isolation wards will be having COVID waste, with patients are being kept for treatment. Healthcare facilities having isolation wards for COVID waste needs to have a separate color code bins and containers. There they came up with BMW rules. They were to be covered in a double layered bags using 2 bags. They collect and store biomedical waste separately, dedicated collection bins and trolleys, and should not have contact. The general waste should not get contaminated and should be disposed of as per MSW rules. To maintain a separate record of the waste generated, and the bins to be inner and outer treated and should be disinfected with 1% of hypochlorite solution. Faces from COVID waste confirmed patients is also to be used to be collected in yellow bags containers. Collection of used PPEs like goggles, face shields, splash-proof apron, plastic coverall, hazmat suits, nitriles, all into red bags. Used masks, including triple layer masks, N95 masks, head covers, cups, shoe covers, disposable linen, non-plastic and semi-plastic, all into yellow bags. And secondary collection centers say, or whatever is the material to be transported through plastic vials, vacunations, appendophore tubes, plastic syro vials, everything should be colored in red bags. So majorly all the waste were categorized to be collected either in the red bag or in yellow bag, and it is defined as to what should be the what waste to be go into which bag. They also defined the responsibilities of quarantine camps, homes and home cares. We all know that the infrastructure available in India is not to the tune what requirement is coming out in the corona homes, in corona disease. So government is also forming up guidelines for having a separate camps and homes and home care facilities, and this should be generated from quarantine camps should be handed over to waste. Biomedical waste, if generated from quarantine center camps, should be collected separately in yellow colored bags. And the biomedical waste at quarantine centers, like used syringes, data expired or discarded medicine, used masks, gloves, etc., to be covered in red colored bags. Responsibilities of the persons were also to be defined, that quarantine homes camps may, what is the responsibility of the person who is providing the services, what should be done and what not. These are all defined in these guidelines, which is available on the website of Central Pollution Control Board and even the state pollution control boards. They also clearly defined the priorities and the duties of the common biomedical treatment facilities and the other facilities, whether you are into collection and transportation, that every waste needs to be collected, it needs to be reported. It should ensure that the sanitization is happening to all the workers involved in handling. Workers should also present all the protective, personal protective equipments, which includes 3-layer masks, splash-proof aprons, gowns, gloves, gumbuds, and safety tools. Use dedicated vehicles to collect COVID waste, if not separate labels such as on vehicles. Vehicles should be sanitized on entry and exit with hypochlorite solution, and operator should maintain record, should see that the waste is getting incinerated within the timeline. And if required, CBWTF should work for extra hours by giving information to SPCB or PCCs, and there's no requirement of any authorization for that. So the whole idea is to see that the waste is collected in a proper manner, sanitized, separated, and disposed of within the timeline. It should maintain the records, ensure proper collection and disposal, allow CBW to operate. The State Pollution Control Board should see that permissions are being continued. There is no hindrance. Everybody is protected, and they are working in a proper protective manner, and may not insist on authorization of quarantine camps such as facilities which do not qualify as health facilities, and may allow common CBWTFs to collect waste as and when required. There has no binding. Anybody CBWTF can collect all the waste, but the waste should be collected and disposed. Since hospitals and quarantine centers are defined centers, but there are undefined centers also which fall under the responsibility of urban local bodies. Generally, the urban local bodies are either in the form of municipal corporation, municipality, or district administration in terms of rural areas. So they were also given the responsibility to see that the safe collection and disposal of biomedical waste should happen. Information of each quarantined homes or societies should be provided, and in each case should ensure biomedical waste is collected directly by CBWTF, engaged authorized waste collectors for doorstep collection of waste, and provided yellow color bags. Most important is all this waste, even at our homes, if by God forbid, if something happens to anybody near or dear ones and is not able to go to quarantine center or are being asked to operate from home, they should be covered into separated bags, completely quarantined, and the waste should be collected in yellow colored bags designated for BMW or in any other colored bag which has to be easily disposed of through the CBWTF operator or the authorized agency, whichever is there. It is also the duty of the locality, urban local bodies to give trainings. The staffs involved should have a PPP, use dedicated cart, trolleys and vehicles, ensure that the waste collectors arrive at quarantine center or home center, shall spray disinfections also. Training should be provided. Duties of urban local bodies also that they should ensure that the CBWTF, or if CBWTF is not there, then there is a common waste deposition center. This is very important, team, because in coming days, when things are open for lockdown is getting over, there could be or there may be places where you can see that lot of waste which is likely to be waste used for personal protective. You may see a lot of things coming out on the street. So for that, the respective ULB should ensure that there is a common waste deposition center from where this waste needs to be completely disposed in a contained area, and this should be either be transported by the CBWTF, or if in case the disposal has also been defined as treatment into landfills or the incineration of TSDF. So either these two should go, these waste should go to the either CBWTF or to the TSDF operator or to any other sanitary landfill where it is permitted. So this is very important, and this is the most important thing which we are, which is likely to come if corona is not contained right now and may lead to such situations. So understanding these guidelines, the guidelines were almost like in the first week of last week of March or April. These were first published. The first was published on 25th of March, and then with further amendment it came on 2nd or 3rd of April. The biggest challenge is that we don't have infrastructure as in India for the whole. We don't have that much of capacity, that much of such large scale capacity available for treatment of such waste. So there was a big problem of capacity constraints. There was a problem of collection and handling of COVID waste from residential areas. And obviously, every area needs to be disinfected. So there is no such infrastructure available on civil level disinfections. But these were waste were getting mixed with municipal solid waste. There was no lack of infrastructure. Also, there was a big problem of PPE shortage. People were not aware of, they were not trained to handle such things. So these challenges are again further elaborated here. And so understanding these challenges, Ramki geared up to see that all the biomedical facilities, as on today, we have more than 35 incineration facilities which are authorized by the pollution control boards, working like partners of IWMA and different places. So these all were infrastructure facilities were geared up to see that the waste is getting disposed of. If required, they can cater to the requirement of that area particular. As on today, we have 35 such incinerators or such facilities. We can take care of such waste management. And then our vehicles, the vehicles were also provided. We could do the city level infrastructure, not only the city level, but for the hospital, for the offices, for any such place, where was required, we could cater to that. It was our own autonomous disinfection centers, and I would like to see you. You can see the slides, sir. That like not only the same kind of thing was being practiced in China, Dubai, USA, or any other country. So we were at par at what the other countries were doing, and in fact, so far we have been better than, as a country, we have been better in containing so far. Let's see, let's see that how we do further things. There was also challenge of service challenges. The main problem was of the workforce availability. And this is the challenge because not only for the trained workers available, we have more than 12,000 to 13,000 workers available. But the bigger problem was that there was a peer pressure, there was a fear factor, and there was understanding factor for all the people as to why why workers are to be there. So we could, this was one of the challenge. There was also a challenge of workforce logistics. If vehicles were available, drivers were not available, and also a challenge of the protective equipments. And we had to see that each person whosoever is engaged into this kind of service, their health and safety is sustained and protected. So these were the big challenges to start with. But all this was overcome by persuasion to the workforce, available workforce. All the logistics were put in force, and a lot of PPEs, personal protective equipments, were placed, provided to him. The entire Ramki force, including the top management, to the middle level management, to the site heads, to the marketing people, to the safety people, to the lab people, and to the workers, were engaged completely in connecting to each and every workforce, so that the morale of the people are high, so that the people come to the ground to see that the nation's requirement is met with. And we did all this with daily training, with ensuring that the PPE is available, with practicing the best international practicing, that everybody entering the site should have a proper thermal screening. There should be a social distancing and food supply. And not only that, there was a pressure of people not being allowed to go back to home. So there was a temporary boarding facility created within the site. And we also generated a lot of e-passes because everybody had to get through some permissions, either from the district administration or from the authority. So this was also being practiced. So the challenges was mainly for the risk of transmission of the virus. There is also one big challenge which is likely to happen or has a reference in the Pollution Control Board guideline, is that any feces or any liquid waste, coming out of such treatment may have a probability of carrying that virus. I repeat here, this has not been confirmed. But I again repeat, this has not been confirmed, but the guideline of CPCB talks of managing the treatment of sewage waste or the effluent treatment plant of any institution. Now, the institution can be the mall, can be the hospital, can be the educational institution, can be the hospitals. So all the ETPs, sludge, or a lot of disinfection should happen at all these facilities, and all the ETP sludge should be disposed of through the TSDFs. So this is one such precautionary measure that CPCB has tried to come out with the guideline that sewage treatment plants and the disinfection of treated wastewater should be done. And it would be better for the operators and ETPs attached with the discharge of healthcare facilities and isolation wards. Here, I would like to add any institution for that matter to adopt additional operational practice basic hygiene precautions and wear PPEs, so that any waste which is coming out of such ETPs should be disposed of through TSDF or through deep barrier. Please note that TSDF cannot reach to many rural areas or many areas where it can be available. So how do such waste managed at rural areas or the areas which is not accessible to such treatment facilities? Better to have a deep pit far away from the habitation, far away from the animal outreach, to be protected with some barricading, and to be worked under complete protection. We must ensure that no cattle, no cat, no dog, no any other pet animal should fall into it. And the waste to be put there immediately with the soil cover. So that is what the deep burial means. And it should be, you see that all the healthcare facilities or the any other malls where such infection is likely to happen, their sludge should be disposed of through TSDF or through facilities. So these were the challenges faced. We had a lot of roadblocks. We had a lot of restrictions in terms of peer group, in terms of fear factor, but all these were made available. There was an acute shortage of personal protective equipment. India needs more than about 1 lakh kits per day. There has been now, I think it's an opportunity for textile industries at Tamil Nadu and in Rajasthan and all over the country. This is one such thing which even Honorable Prime Minister has been propagating. The requirement of masks and gloves in the coming future is, and the scarves in the coming future is going to increase abnormally. So people might think of changing their business lines. But this is a requirement which we can, not only in India, but we can be an importer to this material to our neighboring countries as well. And there was also one challenge. There is still a challenge. People with corona waste or corona disease is being facing socio-cultural factor like stigma and discrimination. It should never happen. Such people needs a lot of care. And so these were the challenges faced. We are still managing all the challenges by ensuring all the safety guidelines as prescribed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Family and Health, Ministry, all local things. Media has been doing a lot. At least I understand out of 130 crore population, roughly more than almost 90% population is now aware of what is corona. At least what should we do? Whether we practice or not, it's the point, but we are aware of what the word corona, our lexicon or the dictionary has increased with number of new words, which we never had a chance even to think for that. So we are challenged. These are the challenges. A lot of people are aware. And just a small thing as to in the month of April, from 25th of March to the April, total biomedical waste handled across 22 sites in India was 175 metric ton, which itself is a very big number. Out of 175 metric ton, 84 metric ton is the COVID or the waste coming out of isolation wards or quarantine homes, quarantine centers. So out of 175, 84 is roughly 50% of the waste coming out of the biomedical was corona waste in the month of April. All this has been disposed, at least had it not been done properly. And we don't claim that it is done because India is having almost like 170 biomedical facilities, to which we are only having 25 of them. We are now increasing the biomedical and the TSDFs to see that it gets managed because it's the requirement of the time. So 50% of the waste generated was COVID waste or received at the site was COVID waste, and it was all disposed of. It is also that lot of healthcare safety things is required to handle such waste. A lot of awareness is required. We need to see that the body temperature is measured at every entry and exit of the exit to the facility reaching to the site. There has to be all the guidelines to be completely managed. People should be trained. Personal protective equipment should be implemented. Social distancing is the most important for us. I always say, please carry on with 4 basic things. It's called like wash your hands, social distancing, cover your mouth and nose, and keep social distancing from to the nearest person. So a lot of initiatives have been taken, seeing that the employees from the workplace are protected. Some of the photographs of how things are being done so far by Ramki across all sites for managing all the waste. We are not only doing this COVID waste or biomedical waste, we are also providing services for industrial waste and municipal solid waste. So those all things continued over the period of 1 year time, and we wish to continue for further also, because these are the people who are present on your slide right now are equivalent to what the doctors and the soldier and the media people and the policeman is doing. They are doing their part of their job, and these are the corona warriors who are providing all sanitation to the people. A lot of in-house guidelines have been uploaded. It is all available at different site offices. These guidelines can be of use to many people, because there is a guideline on handling and hazardous waste to biomedical facilities, almost equivalent to what CPCB has made and taken inputs from them. Then we have an emergency response protocol in case somebody gets any kind of symptoms which is related to coronavirus disease, what should be done immediately, and in protecting employees at workforce during the declared pandemic situation. So all these are there, sir. And just to say that the most important thing which a society has passed through is that the view on the waste management and the look towards and the outlook towards the workers and the sanitation have changed a lot. The first photo shows how people are praising the workers. They are flowering on the people like what we do to the god. They are playing with Aarti, and a lot of training is being provided. So waste management is a very important part to which we as Ramki and we IWMA is to be looked now more as a part of creating awareness, associating with industries on the major role of the waste management, because such a pandemic has happened to the whole world, and we at Tamil Nadu and we at the whole country is contributing towards this social cause, which is requirement. Not only it is affecting the economies. If the life is saved, the economies are saved. If people are saved, economies. If disease is curtailed, economies is saved. So campaigns like Outlet There For You has helped to shed light on the importance of frontline warriors, and communities have realized the importance and began acknowledge the effort of sanitation workers who are fighting this pandemic on the front line. I would like to end here with praise to all the workers across the country and all the stakeholders who has helped us in enabling these things. And with that, thanks to Corona Warriors, and thanks to you all for listening me. I would like to, if anybody has any query, Vignesh can take it further. Thank you.